Andrew McLaren, a professional designer and luxury home architect, was invited by BuzzFeed to build a Minecraft mansion in just 2 hours. When starting his project, Andrew reviews all environmental and ecological factors at the construction site. This also covers where the sun rises and how it impacts the house's design and residents' interior lighting. Having natural light and sustainability, according to the architect, are essential requirements for the luxury homes he designs. If we want a pool, it must be in a well-ventilated area, as should the gardens. Bedrooms should have balconies and windows for outdoor interaction. Finally, the architect chooses a spot between a jungle and a desert with trees on one side and cacti on the other. Clearly highlights the differences of the place. Andrew says there are 2 sand dunes and 2 water sources located nearby, which is a factor that adds value to the residents according to the architect. So the first thing he will try to do is the foundation and the entrance of the mansion. For this, he uses terracotta material in various colors. The goal is for residents to see the sand mountains across the river. In addition, the entrance will be huge and wide like that of a palace. After finishing the first part, he briefly demonstrates how the house plan is coming along. It has a view of the water and the most beautiful part of the desert. The thicker pillar on the left will be the base for a large wall that will lead into the mansion. The smaller pillars will mark the bedrooms and the garage. Why a garage in Minecraft? Never dream small, kids. Late at night, as Andrew built, zombies and skeletons appeared, but our warrior distracts the mobs and keeps working undisturbed. Before we see the mansion's amazing result, it's worth noting the countless possibilities Minecraft offers. Professional engineers have already created calculators that work inside the blocky game just using Redstone. Redstone logic is very similar to the binary logic that already exists in electronics and electrical engineering. This allowed the creation of functional calculators and computers capable of basic tasks, though requiring large complex systems. From the red dust, Vinicius 13 is a prime example. He spent years creating a 3D printer that uses chest blocks and redstone to replicate structures in 3 dimensions. Something like that exists and is possible, though I don't know how it works. Just like an elevator, display, escalator, and several other farms, machines that have logic very similar to real life. Finally, let's see what an architect can do. He completes the first and second rooms as well as the small area between them called the hall. The walls were smooth stone bricks and the pillars were quartz. The mansion's initial outline is finally taking shape. At the end of this first part, he completes the guest rooms and begins building the roof, which will feature a larger overhang and wooden eaves. He also embeds his sea lanterns in the ceiling to highlight the walls and pillars and provide light. Andrew adds windows and ceiling-high glass doors to finish the guest rooms on the mansion's first floor. Now we're going to the back of the house and we'll start building the second floor. So far, everything is going as planned. However, the architect realizes we're running out of space since the land is tight, so he already gives us a heads up that the construction will probably have to extend a bit into the stream's water. The second part of the house will be separate from the first, featuring a large patio, sand dune views, and an outdoor pool. Now we'll build the kitchen over the river's water, and it will include a mini bar. After we finish part of the roof, we will add a tree outside and some entrance doors. Finally, we will finish with the famous quartz pool, which has a small waterfall and some sea lanterns in the background. And since I know you are eager to see the result, let's skip to the final part. The mansion's front facade features 2 band-shaped roofs, giving it a modern look. To the right is the guest area, and a hall sits between the garage and main part, and a small garden that opens to an outdoor area where we can enjoy some sunlight while walking through the main patio. We also have access to the outside of the house with the beautiful waterfall we made earlier and of course the pool. Through the main door, we enter the living room where we have a large sliding door that offers a beautiful view of the outside. In the kitchen, we have a small skylight and a window that faces the sunrise and sunset along with a balcony. The mansion's master bedroom has its own fireplace, sliding doors, and a beautiful view of the mountains. The nighttime view from the house is beautiful even if the lighting isn't great. Remember, Andrew is a professional architect, not a Minecraft player. However, with all the recessed lights he installed inside the house, we can see the roofs, the patio, a large balcony, and the entire exterior. And this is a small sketch of an architect's work. There are countless details that can't be replicated by someone who doesn't know how to play the game. But still, Andrew gave a lesson on how he studies and his work can be applied even in a blocky game, and all of this in less than 2 hours. Now let's look at George Fontana's construction. He's another architect, but he already owns his own company. He ended up in Minecraft at the request of his younger nieces who challenged him to build a mansion in the game. Right in front of his house, we can see gravel, a small flower bed with various flowers, as well as large glass windows and a quartz facade. The difference here is that Jorge had already built the house before starting the video, unlike Andrew. And the chosen location was a small strip of forest or woods which has an exit on the banks of a small river. It's a mansion built into the mountain with a waterfall. The house has several floors. The entrance area has 2 hallways, one facing the living room and the other facing outside. There's a small dining table, a painting, and a glowstone chandelier. And the main living room is attached to the dining room and the kitchen, and it also has an exit to the waterfall. The house was inspired by a real-life building called Falling Water, or the Waterfall House by Frank Lloyd Wright, another professional architect. It's impressive what these guys can replicate in Minecraft. Mathematicians, for example, have already made a calculator using redstone. Yes, a functional calculator in Minecraft using only redstone circuits. Using binary number logic, this ends up becoming possible, but so we don't confuse you, let's stick to this for now. Jorge recreated the mansion in the builds, matching real-life details as closely as possible. Lighting blocks would be glowstones, accommodation blocks could be sandstones, and most decorative blocks would be quartz. Let's move to the laundry room and bathroom now. In the latter, Jorge chose to make the walls with bedrocks and wood as well as a polished block floor to imitate porcelain. In the laundry room, he chose trapdoors to simulate shelves and observers to simulate washing machines. The main room was mostly glass. Jorge shared Andrew's goal of bringing outside light into the house. Outside, we can step onto a balcony with mountain, river, and sunset views. Here, the floor is glass and the railings are quartz. The coolest part is that during the explanation, a creeper was inside the house waiting. I'm not lying. On the top floor, we have the bedrooms. The first is a bedroom for 2 children with an ensuite bathroom as if it were the place for the owner's children. The second one is the master bedroom, a kind of suite for the adults and owners of the mansion. The overall view of Jorge's construction is quite interesting since a house like this is hard to build, even for someone who is a professional in the game. In fact, this project could even be officially presented to clients or at least be used as a draft. Just so you have an idea, the first architect in the video, Andrew, is going to try to recreate rapper Drake's mansion valued at $7 million inside Minecraft. So you'll be able to see that yes, real construction projects and blueprints could initially be presented in Minecraft with gameplay in 3 dimensions and even in 4 dimensions. To get a better view, the location of the residence will be a forest right next to some small mountains. And finishing up the land, the player started to build a concrete wall to be the main support base for the house. It will be made in gray to contrast with the white of the rest of the building. After building the gray walls, he finishes with some white edges to break up the color tone. Now we will start building the hallways that will connect us to the other rooms of the house. Andrew plans to make all of them identical in appearance, diameter, and length. After finishing this part, we see the wall symmetry, which was the architect's goal. He then moved to the rooms, which would be quartz with glass doors, windows, and direct access to the main corridor. And for the house lighting, the architect decided to use sea lanterns with quartz blocks. After completing this process, the initial structure becomes clearer, highlighting its modern feel with gray walls and white pillars. On the outside, Andrea built a waterfall flowing from the mountains to mimic a natural stream and add value to the mansion. Before we reveal the final result, we should mention that due to many requests, our warrior used shaders in Minecraft before revealing his work. No sooner said than done, using the realistic lighting from the shaders. It's clear the goal of using external light indoors was achieved. Entering the hall and walking through the corridors, we see the earlier built natural pool, as well as the mountains and woods. We can also see the bedroom's exterior and structure, which was the main focus of this construction. Hey friends, follow me on the purple site at A's eMindset 7. I'm likely live now. And finally, check out the store to see the channel's clothes and prints, which are going on a huge 50% off sale. A big hug to everyone and take care.